guys, good morning to you. Wow, it is 07, why I say 07? It's 7:45 or 7:46 in the morning. It is Tuesday here. Is it Tuesday? It's the 2nd. That's right. So happy new year to you guys. I hope you had a beautiful new year. Welcome to my channel, guys. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Karen, and you are viewing my quilting channel. And I do a little bit of lifestyle sometimes, and I like to talk to the camera every so often. Don't do it regularly, but yeah, today's one of those days. So happy new year to you if you're new to the channel, and welcome. And for my normal subscribers, or my everyday girls and guys, thank you so much for joining me once again. And you're welcome, and happy new year to you too. So today we are going to be doing a jelly roll, and guys, this jelly roll is 20 strips. I haven't really come up with an ideas yet, but I'm gonna just go for it and see. I like thinking on the spot sometimes. So it's 20 strips, and it's gonna be a beginner one. It's gonna be a quick one also. How do I know it's gonna be quick? Because I am not going to do anything difficult with it. I just sometimes like to make simplistic, and I think sometimes the best quilts are just the simple ones, because they come about quickly. You form the idea in your head, you just make it, quilt it, and then it's ready to be used, you know. So it's 20 strips in this one. I'm not sure what this one is called actually. I'm looking at it without my glasses, and you know what, let me just put my glasses on. That will be easier, won't it? Let's have a look. Oh, she can see now. I don't think it's so old. It's when I said this jelly roll is old, I've probably had this 2 years now. So yeah, it's a little bit, yeah, the writing is a bit gone. But anyway, for those of you who don't know, a jelly roll is fabric cut into strips from a collection of fabrics, just to make up that jelly roll collection. And it's cut by the width of fabric by the size 2.5. all right, sometimes you get 20, 25. It depends on how big the roll is, but I reckon this is a bit of a smallish roll. As I said, it's 20 strips. So we're going to be making something with this today, and I'm going to be using some background as well. But before we dive into that, I just wanted to say Happy New Year, which I have done already. And just to wish you, a really beautiful new year. And when I say new year, I mean the whole year. And I hope everything works out for you by the grace of God. And as I usually say, if there's anything going on in your life that you think is not quite there yet, just be patient. Pray about it. Sometimes praying is just talking to God, and just having that conversation and just being yourself. You don't need to gravitate towards the excellent words, or, it's just talking and expressing your heart. So whatever is wrong or not right, that, that's not 100% there, and you think that could be better, whether it's personal life, whether it's work life, because we all know work life can be challenging, because there's some human beings out there, I tell you, and you know where they come from, but they bring their drama to you. But anyway, so just pray about it, and I truly believe everything will be fine. For me, I have lots of ideas for the channel and to share a lot with you as well. For those of you who don't know, if I don't think I've told you, I've stopped working now. I've decided that I really want to focus on the channel and work from home and do what I love. When I first came here, I really didn't want to go back into teaching anymore. I just felt I've done it for such a long time now. I wanted a new challenge, and obviously the channel was something I did on the side as fun, and I really enjoy doing this, So I said to my husband, look, I don't want to do this anymore. It's stressing me out. It's making me unhappy. The drive, the people again, and the people again. It's just, I don't need the drama in my life. I just want to be happy. And sometimes you need to make a decision and trust God, and to eliminate things that's just pressing on you, because life have a way of pressing on you that, can draw out your happiness, your joy, that center joy that we have as human beings. some people just know how to just drag it away from you. And so I just really wanted to focus on this. So guys, I'm asking you here to support me throughout the challenge of becoming sort of self-employed with YouTube. And so support me as much as you can, even if it's just a little comment, even if it's just subscribing, even if it's just give me a thumbs up, even if it's just saying, Karen, you go girl, I support you. You don't know how much that means. And it really boosts anybody, and not just me, to know that a stranger out there has just said, you know what, I support you, I am cheering for you. So thank you in advance. So you can, if you can do that for me right down there, that would be brilliant. So yeah, so that's one of my goals for the new year, is to really try and boost the channel and to be more creative, make more quilts, you know, and share a lot of me with you. Not so much my husband, because he doesn't like to be in camera. He's always like, oh, I look terrible, and oh, yeah, I don't know what to say, and you know, and I say, baby, you don't have to say anything. If you walk past behind the camera, it is okay. You know, don't let me have to cut and paste just to cut you out. Just relax. So yeah, so that's sort of my goal. As I said, I've stopped working now, and I really just want to focus on the channel and bring you more excellent, high quality tutorials, you know, that I think I will benefit from and you'll benefit from. One of my other goals I'm going to share with you is that I'm writing an online quilting book, and I'm aiming to release it. I don't want to give you a date, but I'm aiming to release it this year is all I would say, because I don't want to put extra pressure on myself, you know. But that's one of my goals that I really want to achieve, you know, that with, you know, promoting the channel and really working hard to do stuff with the channel, you know, as I said, more quality tutorials. So that's one of my goals for the new year, or two, I should say, right? So what are yours? Share with me down below for the new year what you want to achieve, because I think it's good to have challenges or goals you want to achieve. It keeps you focused, you know, and it doesn't have to be anything grand. It could be anything, whether it's reading a book, whether it's, you know, contacting family and friends a little bit more, whether it's dressing up and, you know, feeling pretty, or whatever it is, something that you can do for yourself, whether it's going and seeing a movie more regularly. It could be something that you can do for you. So I want to know, the same way I'm sharing with you my personal aspirations for 2024, what are yours? Share with me, please. I really want to know, because I want to cheer you along also. And the same way I will give you updates, I want you to give me updates too. And I'm serious, I mean that. So yeah, so that's it for me. But what else can I say to you before I delve in? You know, I want to do a little bit more chatting before I start talking about the quilt. And some of you are saying, woman, get on with the quilt. Get on. Hold on, I'm getting there. Oh, yesterday, I went shopping for fabric. There was so much. They emailed me, Spotlight, and said, Karen, we have 40% off. I was, yes, I am coming. I am on my way. Yeah, Carl, let's go. Jumped in the car, went down there, did some buying of some fabric, because honestly I didn't really have much anymore, because usually when it's sale time I will go spend a little bit more, she says, on fabric, and so I have a bit of a stash there. And obviously because I make quilts so much, I will build up my scraps a lot more quickly, and so then I will chuck in a scrappy fabric quilt, which I think I need to make another one. But yes, I bought new fabric. I even ordered as well, and there was this huge batting on sale. Got that as well, because I was beginning to run low. And Carla said to me, do you need it? I said, yeah. He said, when you think? I said, I probably can get 2 more quilts out of it. And then I'll be done. He said, well, you know what, let's just get it now, because I know you'll be saying to me, baby, can you go pick me up some batting? So I got that. But yeah, I literally like speed up, ran to the fabric store. But oh my God, I love Spotlight. You know what? I'm gonna try and get Spotlight to sponsor me so I can get some sponsoring for you. But yeah, But it was brilliant being there, actually. Spent a few hours in there. I know Carl, from the time we go in there, Carl just picks up his phone and he's like, he just waits so patiently. He doesn't stress me out at all. But today is his birthday. You know, I woke up this morning and I totally forgot. I remembered yesterday because I said, baby, what do you want to do for your birthday? And he was like, oh, I don't know. Sometimes, you know, for some people, when they reach a certain age, and I know that's for me as well, you don't know what to buy them or give them for their birthday. And he's like pretty laid back. He's like, oh, baby, I don't know what I want, you know, because we didn't give each other any Christmas gifts. Because both our birthdays are literally after Christmas. His is the 2nd and mine is the 9th. And for all of you out there, you know, we're Capricorns. And yeah, we get along really fine. But I didn't know what to get for his birthday. So I thought, I'm going to bake him a nice little cake today and icing it up. And may not write happy birthday on it. I don't know yet. I'm not sure. But I'm going to bake him a nice little cake and surprise him and make him a nice little dinner. As I said, he's really laid back, you know. Baby, what do you want? Oh, I don't know. So anyway, so I'm going to make it a little bit fussy for him, make him feel special. So got up this morning and I totally forgot to wish him happy birthday. Went downstairs, made coffee. And when I brought his coffee up to him, he was like, baby. I was like, yeah, hey, it's my birthday. I was like, oh my God, baby, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I totally forgot because in the mornings I usually get up and make a coffee for him and get his packed lunch together. And because he likes his packed lunch and his snacks and stuff like that. Some of you might say, oh, he's not your child. I know he's not my child. But these are the things he enjoys. And trust me, if that could make that small, tiny bit of my time in the morning can make him happy, hey, you know, thumbs up to me. Life is easier, isn't it? Because my husband, as I said, is pretty laid back. But yeah, so it's his birthday today. So I'm going to make a little bit of fuss about him. And mine is on the 9th. So I don't know what he has plans, but he probably does more fussing about my birthday, you know. But again, he asked me, baby, what do you want for birthday? I was like, oh, I don't know. Probably a new TV in the bedroom. And realistically, I don't need a TV. Then I said to him, enough, I don't need a TV in the bedroom. I was like, I don't know what I want. I don't really need any jewelry. You know what, saying that, I wouldn't mind an extra ring. Yeah, I think I'll ask for an extra ring. I do like rings. I do like nice rings. So yeah, and I don't wear any, this is one for my mother. There's obviously my wedding and engagement ring. And that's it. So probably a nice ring or bracelet. I'm thinking now as I'm on camera. But either way, I'm not fast. I really am not. So so that's it really, guys. What else can I tell you before we go? How many of you actually moved this? I want to know. Let me know, okay? Well, guys, I think that's enough chatting for now. But let's get into this. Let's get into some serious work right now. And as I said, share with me if you have any ideas for a quilt that you would like to learn to make. By all, let me know. I have the time now. So then that way I can get it all planned and ready for you. This is going to be a free pattern, by the way. As I said, it's going to be a beginner one. And I'm going to put the link so that you can download it. And any problems, do let me know. By all means, please don't ever hesitate to drop me a line and say, Karen, I don't understand something. And I'm quite happy to explain it to you. It's not a problem for me at all. One of the reasons I think I am like that is because I used to be a teacher. So I think clarity for me is important because I always think when somebody emails me and said, Karen, I'm not understanding something, I feel I have to respond. And so if I get up in the middle of the night, by the way, guys, I'm up all the time, you know, in the sense that I'm always feeling hot, as you know. So if I get like a heat burst, it wakes me up, I gotta drink water, the phone might go off and it's not really on, but it might light up. And then by just sitting there and waiting to go back to sleep, you get alert, isn't it? So like now I'm beginning to feel hot. Can you see the moistness on my forehead? Honestly. So yeah, so if you got a question, by all means, do not hesitate. It's pretty okay with me. And if I don't see it the next day, I'll definitely see it in the morning or that night or whatever, and I'll give you a response. So it's not an issue. All right, so let's get started and get to work. All right, guys, so I have my background fabric here. I've just ironed it. I've just cut a strip of it from the majority of the background, so it's just a smaller quantity that I can work with. So as I said, it's going to be a beginner one, and the first thing I'm going to do is to start cutting my fabrics into 2.5 strips. Now, as I said, it's going to be a new pattern, just to say thank you for all the support that you've given me throughout the year, and also to welcome new subscribers. So it's going to be, you'll be able to download it. So if I don't give you the directions or the instructions in terms of the sizes, etc., as I go along, it will be in the pattern for you. So just bear with me, because sometimes it's a little more quicker just to do rather than to remember to always mention the sizes. But for this one here, I'm going to be cutting it the same size as the jelly rolls, which is 2.5 inch strips. Okay. So I reckon this fabric here measures to about 60 inches wide. Do remember that the jelly rolls, I think I said they were what, 42? Yes, 42 inches wide. So this is going to be a little bit longer than the jelly rolls. So that's a half, 1, 2. I almost cut it into 3. Again, pay attention what you're doing. Especially if you're working with small quantities of fabric, i.e. like, you know, last minute bits and bobs of fabric that you're going to work with to make your quilt. This one, I would definitely say it's an opportunity to use it as a scrap quilt as well. If you've got yardage, I tend to use a lot of yardage sometimes to make up a scrap quilt. If I know I need extra bits, so if I have yardage, yeah, I may definitely cut off a bit or two and contribute it to the quilt. So nothing's wrong with that. All right, so cutting my strips now into 2.5. I've got that bit left over. So what we're going to do is open up this. I'll just put these on the side for now. Now, I would say as a beginner, get yourself organized so you know what you're doing. I think organization is the key. Try to have your pattern printed out, and that way, you know, you stay on track so you can follow along. All right, so this looks really lovely. I do notice immediately that it is, I've got some light ones here, which may not necessarily work with the background. All right, so bear that in mind. So if you've got a jelly roll, you may have to then go to your yardage and use another color. All right, so you have that high contrast. But when we talk about high contrast, you are referring to the fact that the pattern stands out. Okay, so for example, if I use all of them light colors, so for example, I use this sort of black and white, and I use my background color, and I use a very pale pink and a very pale yellow, there is no high contrast, there is no high color to identify, to show the pattern. One of the main things for quilting is to show off the pattern. So remember, you're taking fabric and you're cutting it up into smaller pieces to make a pattern. So if your fabrics are low in contrast, you won't be able to see that pattern. Just, to me, you sort of waste your time, really. Okay, so if I put those two together, you can't really see any difference, isn't it? It's just those, just a black and white will show up. Right, so we're going to sew, and as I said, this is really easy from what my brain is thinking of, really easy. So I'm going to sew 2 of the jelly rolls together with one of the background fabric. So for example, I'm going to take this nice beautiful red. There's a lot of barbecue and foodie on this particular jelly roll here. So you can see there's barbecue, there's corn, there's watermelon, there's sausages, there's steaks, there's corn. So I think this is definitely a kitchen jelly roll. So I would say we are definitely going to make, in this particular, a barbecue picnic or a quilt for the picnic table. So it will look really nicely. All right, so yeah. Oh, this one is bottles of sauces. Isn't that cute? Really, really nice. Let's see what else is in there. So no, so realistically, there isn't much colors here, other variations. So it's very much only one, say, and so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Only 4 colors. Literally only 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors in there. That's it. So we're gonna have to make this work. All right, so let's take some at the side at the moment. So as I said, use the high contrast. I may have to be forced to use that, but I will see. I don't think it will work based on what I am thinking of using this. This will be all right because it already has those colors in there. I think it will work with the background. So we're going to sew 2, and I'm going to take this one and the red together. All right, and the white background. Now the white background needs to go towards the end. Let's move this to the side. I don't want to confuse myself. So the white background needs to go towards the end. So when I said the end, I don't want it in the middle. Okay, I need to put it at the end. So because I already have white in this particular jelly roll, I am going to put it on the end here. Okay, now what I would say, looking at this jelly roll, I cut mine's in a straight cut at the edge, and this one has a serrated or a zigzag or perforated, whatever name you want to identify it as, meaning it is not a straight cut. All right, so do remember that sometimes when you are looking at these zigzag ones, the 2.5 inch is within the depth, so the valley, so to speak, of the cut of the jelly roll. So not the peak of the mountain, but the valley of the mountain is where the 2.5 is. All right, because when you cut, you are going to trim off those peaks. All right, so we are going to sew each jelly roll or 2 jelly rolls together with a background fabric, making sure that it's on the end, whether it's at the top end or the other bottom end, it doesn't really matter as long as it's not in the middle. So that is your second step. So your first step was literally to iron your background fabric. Second step, take your jelly rolls out, make sure you have high contrasting colors, and then line up with your background fabric. So I'm going to sew these together. So I'm going to get these together, sewn together. I'm going to come back and show you all of them together, guys. All right, guys. So the next step is simply to lay out the colors together that you've chosen. So as you can see, I've done that one there. So I know I've got 4 of these. You're seeing 3 here because I've already sewn 1, and I've got another 4 out of these ones as well. Remembering to sew the white strip to the end. It doesn't really matter if you put whatever color together, the jelly roll in between. So what I mean by that, it doesn't matter if it's the red on the top or the blue on the top, it doesn't matter. What's important here is that you put the white at the bottom or the top. Why I said that? Because we can spin it around, okay? So get your strips together. As I said, organization is the key here so that you don't get it confused. All right, let me show you how to sew it together now. All right, guys, so I'm going to sew together now. So I'm starting with the white on top, and I've lined it up so you can see the peaks sticking out still. All right, that's very important. Remember I said that the 2.5 inches starts from the peak, not the tip of the valley. All right, and I'm just going to sew 1/4 inch as I would normally, nothing different about that. And so if you do, whatever you decide, what colors you decide to put in terms of the jelly roll together first, it doesn't really matter as long as you stay consistent with that for all of the strips. All right, so remember with this one, I have 4, and I'm going to put the white at the end, red in the middle, and my source print at the top. All right, so just keep it to that design. All right, so this is all sewn on now. So I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to do this one at the top now. All right, so fold it over. So in this case, I'm going to have to put the red on top and the new one at the bottom. All right, line it up together as you would normally. And one of the ways you'll know that you've lined it up correctly is that all the peaks will be aligned properly, okay? And you just continue to sew all the way down. again using a 1/4-inch seam. Line it out up and it sews really quickly. All right, so all of the strips have been sewn together now, and I'm simply just going to iron it nice and flat, and I'm starting at the back first. Just give it a nice little press. And it's very important that you pull it, because what tends to happen, and I'm talking about the two ends, if you see me just tugging, what tends to happen is that the jolly rolls kind of fold inward, so they kind of give a little bit of a crease. So I usually start at the back, slightly pull. I'm not stretching the fabric, I'm just pulling it open. As you can see, it moves there. All right, and then I'm going to go to the front, and what I'm referring to is that it gives a little pleat. So if you don't sort of tug it open, it kind of pleats over. All right, and that can also lead to incorrect cuts. So again, nice and flat, add a little bit of steam so that it is open nicely, and you just continue all along. So once we've done all of this, we are going to simply cut and then take it from there to start laying the blocks out. As I said, this is a very quick quilt. All right, so I'm going to put that to the side. I'm going to do another one, and then we're going to move on. Okay, so it's time to do some cutting, and what we need to concentrate on is trimming off the edges. Sorry about that. Trimming off the edges so that it's nice and straight. Okay, so I'm just going to start. I'm going to use this smaller ruler, and I'm going to trim off now. It's a little bit too short, and I don't want to risk the ruler twisting, so I'm just going to use a correct length one here. Line it up and just simply cut. So I have a nice straight line to work with. Now, one of the tricks of knowing where to cut when it comes to using strips or to cut it into squares is however tall or high the width of the fabric is how much you cut across. All right, I hope that makes sense. So if you want to get a square, however high, you cut across whatever amount it is. In this particular instance, it is 6.5 inches wide, and I have a 6.5 inches tall, and I have a 6.5 inches ruler here that I'm going to cut my squares with. So all I'm going to do is just put the ruler down and simply cut. All right, now just to repeat that, remember that we are measuring from the valley. All right, so my ruler comes up. Let me just bring this closer to you. My ruler comes up to the valley, so that's where my 6.5 inches in length, right, in the length or the height of the square comes. So that's how I know my square needs to be 6.5 inches across. All right, so we're going to continue with all of that, and then we were going to move on. Now each of the square comes up to, as I said, 6.5, and I think each strip shall give you, let me just count it so that you're aware, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You get 6 and a scrap bit at the end, which I will show to you. All right, so again, just measure off. If you have a 6.5 inch ruler, by all means just put it towards the end and cut. It will make the cutting go a little bit more quickly because you don't have to stop and measure it all over again. You just align it and simply cut. All right guys, so these are the cuts now. You're going to have 24 of this one and 24 of that one. You're also going to have some little scraps which I've cut into 5 inches. All right, so obviously it's a rectangle. If you look at it, it's not a square. All right, so it's going to be 5 inches across by 6.5 down. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this as yet. I may add them into the quilt, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. But rather than just chuck it away, I've cut it into something. Remember, I also have not used these as yet, and I may also add these to the quilt. But for now, let's go lay it all out. Alright guys, so I've started to lay out the quilt, and just so that you know, you're going to have 48, in case you didn't work that out, okay? So I'm laying them horizontally and vertically. So I'm trying to get a pattern out of it using the white strips. So I'm trying to get a pattern using the white strips here, and also using the source strip, which is what I'm going to call it. So you can see that pattern forming there. But I'm getting the white and the source, okay? So let's continue with that. I'm probably going to be quiet as I do this, as I am concentrating, because it is slightly confusing. So just so that you can get it. Once I have sorted it out in my head, then I will obviously share that with you. Alright guys, so I've laid out the pattern, and I'm just going to make reference to certain color strips so that you understand the pattern layout. So I'm going to call this the source strip, and I'm going to call this the barbecue strip. Alright, and if I've got to refer to the red, I will say red, and then I will say the black strip. Now this pattern is laid out in a stairway pattern. Alright, so what I have used is the white strips, and I'm going to start from the top up there, the white strip to emulate a stairway. Alright, I've done that also with the barbecue strip here, emulating a stairway. Again, you come back to the white. Alright, the white there again, and then the barbecue there again. Okay, you can see the source there again doing the same thing. Alright, so the blocks themselves has been laid out vertically and horizontally. What you need to pay note to is that with the start of the laying out, I'm going to go down, I'm going to go closer in so that you can understand what I'm saying. So as you can see, the blocks are laid out vertically and horizontally. Alright, so when the first block, whatever first block you decide to put down, you're just making sure that the last color is touching the next color that you put on for your second row of blocks. Alright, same way here, it's touching for the second row of blocks to get your white. So with the first block here, it is facing towards the next block so that it can touch the white to give you that stairway pattern. Okay, and so is the next one, so you can see the source touching the source to give you the stairway pattern. And that goes on all the way throughout. So your first vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, ensuring that whichever block you use, that color scheme continues all the way down to show your stairway. Now, what I would advise you is that when you are making this, just literally look at the pattern, because I'm going to take a print of this, a picture of this, so that you can understand exactly how to lay your blocks out. It doesn't matter what color your blocks are. If you use a white, a blue as your background fabric, then that is the color you're going to use to start off to get your formula for your pattern. All right, but it doesn't really matter, so don't let it confuse you. Take your time. Quilting is all about a slow process, especially when you're just starting. It does take a while, especially to work out different patterns. By all means, you don't have to go with this pattern. You can go with any other. Okay, but we're going to keep it simplified. I thought this was a nice pattern to choose. And I think it looks really nice. So I do like that stairway pattern that you get with it. But of course, you can choose whatever you want. All right, so I'm going to sew this together as you would. So as usual, front sides together, and continue to get the whole thing. Now, what I wanted to point out is we get 48 blocks altogether. However, because we get 48 blocks, the way how I have laid this out, you need 2 extra blocks at the end here. And so you have an option. You can just lay it out to use all of your blocks, okay, and you will have extra. Or remember the extra bit we had, which was the 5 inches? Well, you can cut it down and make a block for the corner here, which I think is what I'm going to do. All right, so I'm sure 2 blocks in the corner here, so I have the option of literally cutting and joining to make up a to make up a 6.5-inch block. Mind you, this is 5, so really all I need is 1.5 inches really to join. So I can just cut it into 2 inches or 2 3/4 and trim the rest off to make my 6.5. Okay, but I can leave you that decision. It's entirely up to you, whichever you choose. All right. But that's what I think I'm going to do. All the other blocks, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it works out fine for the rest of the layout. I hope that makes sense to you. But by all means, if you got any questions, please do not hesitate, as I said in the intro, to give me a holler, give me a text, and I will be sure to answer it. But just to clarify, because I am 2 blocks short at the end here, what I am going to do is take my extra and just cut it in half and sew it onto each and just make up the 6.5-inch block. I don't have to. I can simply move all this at the end here and leave it like so. It doesn't really matter, okay? And just put a border around it. It's entirely down to you. You don't have to do that. I don't even have to do that. It's just something extra to do to use up all of the actual blocks. All right, guys? So I'm going to continue to sew it all together. The next step will be either to show you the end result or show you a little bit of quilting. Okay, and for something like this, I will literally choose a very simplistic quilting method, whether it be meandering or swirls, etc., so that I can get it done a lot more quickly. Okay, or just all over swirls. Doesn't really matter, whatever you do, as long as you're comfortable with the actual quilting that you use. You can even use straight line quilting, you can use wavy line quilting. I mean, in here we've got some meandering movement already, and that's actually ants. Isn't that brilliant? That's ants represent, because I think this is definitely a picnic fabric. So you got ants there. It's so fantastic. All right, so you can even imitate that and use just a meander, which I think is what I'm actually going to do. When I think the pattern stands out as much as this, for me, I like the quilting to take a background so that you can focus on the actual pattern itself. That's the main point, isn't it? Why you go through so much hassle making the actual quilt. All right, I'm going to sew together now and then I'll show you the result. Hi guys, and so I'm going to show you the completed quilt now. Now, if you have enjoyed this tutorial so far, please do me the honor of subscribing, give me a thumbs up, and certainly share the video. That helps me out so much. You really don't know how just those simple 3 tasks helps to promote the video and to let others see what I am actually doing here, and it encourages me to continue to produce more videos like this. So thank you so far if you've done that. If you haven't, please consider doing so. So I'm going to show you the overall look of the quilt now. So remember, it's a barbecue table quilt, and it was used using strips, and yeah, I think it looks really beautiful, to be honest. So we're gonna have a little barbecue a little bit later on, my husband, and so I'm just going to set up and show you what I think it should look like. So bye for now, happy quilting, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. What a beautiful quilt. That is all I can say. This quilt measures 50 by 50 and it's absolutely stunning. The jelly roll print is suited for a picnic table quilt. Guys, I mean, if you definitely want to make something as awesome as this, I would implore you to actually seek out this jelly roll. It's beautiful. I use a meandering print for the pattern, and it just comes about so beautiful. Can you tell I'm excited about this? Look at it. It's vibrant, it's beautiful, it's summery. The tones is just awesome. Just everything works together to make this a really beautiful summer barbecue quilt. Looking at the borders, you can see that I use a really vibrant, flowery, floral print on the borders. I went back into those yellow tones as well to complement the whole tonality of the quilt. Everything has come together to make one for this. It is just beautiful. It's an absolute beginner quilt. Definitely, I would encourage you to challenge yourself and try this. If you've forgotten where the block is, there it is. It's just those 3 jelly rolls sewn together, and in fact it's 2 jelly rolls with the backing fabric or the background fabric. So just amazing. On the back, I've actually used Aboriginal print so that if you wanted to use this as a picnic quilt, you can. Just so stunning, guys. Really, really is. This has excited me because I just think sometimes quilting amazes me. Beautiful. Thanks for watching, guys. Happy quilting, and I'll definitely see you in the new for the next one. And I really hope that you download the free pattern and enjoy it. Compliments of crafty quilting designs. So see you next week, guys. And as I said before, happy quilting. Bye for now. Do enjoy.